Well, welcome everyone to the third episode of the Everyday Fan podcast. I'm your host, Gary Sparrow. And, this is, again, just a podcast wanting to bring some people on that are just fans, not any experts or professionals, so called professionals in the sports world. Just, hey, everyday fans that are passionate about their team, passionate about their sport. That's who I'm looking for. So, anybody out there, you enjoy it, you want to participate, want to be a guest, just reach out to me at the Everyday Fan Podcast at gmail.com. So today I am joined by a good friend of mine and the reigning fantasy football champion in the league we are in, Leonard Robinson. How are you doing today, Leonard?
Oh, glad to be here, Gary. I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So so you took the title of the fantasy football league you started, and kind of I'm helping you out a little bit with, but kind of a comeback at the last part of the season and took the championship. Good job.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was probably more fun doing the collective each week and talking trash about it. But that I couldn't believe the ways the season switched up on me at the last minute, and I got in. I think a game that you and I played in. It came down to whichever one of us won moved on. That's what, yeah, I believe
Exactly.
yeah, it came down to that. So, and that game was sheer luck. So after that point, I couldn't believe what was happening. And if there was ever a Cinderella ride to the top, I think I got on it.
It was great. It was a lot of fun, though. I had a lot of fun this year doing
Yeah,
that. So looking forward to next year.
yeah,
So I know we've been friends for a while, and I worked at the chamber there in Georgia, and you kind of came in and took my place and kind of elevated that position. You did a great job with that. But so we've been friends for a while, known each other for a while, and I knew from talking to you and everything that you're a huge San Diego Chargers fan, which was unusual in Georgia. So, tell me how that came about. How'd you become a San Diego Chargers fan?
All right. I landed in San Diego, 1979. I showed up with the Marine Corps, just watched the sea there, and watched the shore. Got up, and Air Coryell and the Chargers were really just kind of getting cranked up, and it was yeah, I was drawn to it. I'm from Mississippi, so they don't actually have a football team, so you could say I was an orphan, and I bought into Air Coryell, and I bought into full on and that offense and the excitement and probably the new city and that point in my life. So, yeah, I've been a Chargers fan since, and when they moved back to LA, that made it better for me because my basketball team, my baseball team, and women's basketball, I love all the LA teams, so now I had them all in one place. And, LA Chargers, yeah, man, we're ready to go.
That's great. That's great. So you're back in the Dan Fouts era.
Yeah.
That's kind of back. I like that old school stuff. I'm a big Cowboys fan, and that goes back to the Roger Staubach, Tom Landry days. So yeah, I had a lot of fun back then watching football. And back when I started watching, Coryell
Yeah.
was actually the coach of the Cardinals, uh,
Mhm.
back when they were in St. Louis. So yeah, I go way back. I'm kinda aging myself there, but, that goes way back to yeah, long time ago. But, yeah, I always enjoy the Chargers too. I like football. I like watching everybody, of course, when they're playing the Cowboys, I'm a Cowboys fan. But, yeah, Chargers have a great history, great offense back then. I don't know if maybe the lack of some defense kept them out of championship games back in those days, but great offense with Dan Fouts, and they just scored points like crazy, threw the ball all over the place. They were a lot of fun to watch.
They were. They were a lot of fun to watch. That was high octane football. It wasn't for the faint of heart, and in seconds, they could drop points on you. It was about how many plays that it was gonna take them to score. That I think that's what was happening in those huddles. How many plays will it take us to go this distance? I don't know. I think that's what they were calling.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. So, yeah, so you've kinda moved on with them ever since then. What do you
Oh,
think's the
yeah.
best Chargers team since you've been a fan, since you've been watching them? Was
Well,
it
I'm
back in
gonna
those
go
days or
I think the best Chargers team at this point, that's a twofold question for me because the best Chargers team I've seen already I'm going to go ahead and give credit to the team that lost the first 4 games, went to a Super Bowl. Now, they got beat up pretty bad in the Super Bowl there by the San Francisco 49ers, but that was a machine.
Right.
And anyway, we don't want to talk about that. But that was that was one of my favorite teams because they lost 4 games in a row. They didn't lose another game until they had that terrible beating by the 49ers. And that was pretty impressive to me because it was a collective. And I think that's what they're
Right.
trying to do now, okay, is not have like that just the stars, but the group that comes together and does this.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you can have the star players and, when you spend a lot of money on 1 or 2 players, it's hard to have a good rounded team. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the way everything just I mean, just look at the Seahawks. They pick up Sam Darnold this last year off the scrap heap kinda. His career wasn't going anywhere, and all of a sudden now he's the Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Right, or the Colts,
Um,
Broncos. I mean, and that's
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. If Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, who knows? They might be there with him.
exactly. And, there's even the experiment that's going on in Las Vegas right now. I'm not a Raiders fan because being such a Charger fan, I do not want good things for the Raiders. And they're having it's if they can figure out all the moving pieces, that's another dangerous unit. So, I mean, look out AFC West.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I think the Broncos are only gonna get better, with the defense they have, and then the Chargers, of course, as well. So the Super Bowl team, was that Bobby Ross? Was he the coach then?
That was, uh, that was Bobby Ross.
Okay.
And that was 0-4 to start the season out, and they hit every game after that, and they won. All right, all the way up until I think, a playoff game in Pittsburgh, and Gibson knocks down a pass from going into the end zone where they're trying to score, and we from that knockdown pass, we jumped into the Super Bowl. Perhaps that team wasn't just ready to be there, but you know what? When you show up and you win the games, apparently you were ready to be there. Ready to win? Okay, maybe not.
That's right,
That's another conversation.
that's right. Well, that's great, that's great. So, as far as the team now goes, of course, I know they got a great quarterback and
Mhm.
Justin Herbert, and so
So
how's the team looking? How'd they do during free agency? I know we'll talk a little bit more about free agency in a minute because it was just kinda
woo!
more moves than I ever remember seeing this time of year, but,
Yes.
so how did the Chargers do?
Well, in my opinion, I really feel like they're making a point to show that they're trying to play tough, physical. You can call it boring football if you want to. They're building in the trenches. This is not about sports cars, man. They're building an armored truck and they're putting the people in place. They're 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 going to be violent. And they went out and they got a high speed running back. You got you got coming out of Miami coming up to bring this level of offense. Yeah, I'm so look, can we kick off now? What are we waiting for? I'm not this is I want to see what they put on the field. Mike McDaniels has a way with an offense, so they went out and got Keaton Mitchell, which is just a speed burner. And you've got Amarian Hampton, which is going to knock some heads. He's that kind of a big body back. With the 2 guards coming back, Alt and Slayer coming back, you went out and got a center. I think it's yeah, they're gonna run over some people. This is gonna be good to watch from my perspective.
That's great. I
I
I did see it as far as, names that you hear, I did see they picked up Khalil Mack. Does he have anything left in the tank? I mean, he was just a beast when he first came out of college.
He helped out last year. The man went through, he had his arm folded up like a paperclip and then came back and still put up great numbers last year. Khalil Mack's there for what he brings to the room, what he brings to the attitude. And they've taken and what they've done so far with the team. I feel like they've made a lot of improvements without getting splashy, and they haven't even hit the draft yet. Baltimore always
Right,
had football teams. Charger fans are whining because we keep getting people from Baltimore. But and like you said, we're about to get to free agency. But 9 coaches moved around this year. So you've got all the parts and pieces that are kind of moving around with them. I'm looking forward to this season.
right. That's great, that's great. I look forward to of course, like I mentioned, I'm a big Cowboys fan. I've never been a big Jerry Jones fan, but, I can't bail on my team just because who
Right.
the owner is. But, every year I got high hopes and they just killed me since the '90s. It's just been terrible, but, so yeah, I know how it is. Optimism every year, ready to go. So hopefully they can turn things around a little bit this year. You know, after losing Micah Parsons last year, the defense just
Yeah.
and I don't know why he's one player. He was out injured the year before and they played okay. But it's just like last year, it just deflated the whole team. So
It's some
hopefully they can bounce back this year. We'll see what happens.
I think it's that energy in the room. That's what we talked about with a Khalil Mack. I think there's certain
Right.
players, yeah, that you need you to the other players feed off of or an energy that they bring.
Absolutely. I think you're right. I think you're right. That
Yeah, and
makes a lot of sense.
I don't have any Alex Spanos t-shirts either. I get it, not having an owner. They've been a lot better since the Harbaughs have been in town, but prior to this, the one of the biggest, most Charger fans felt like one of the biggest drawbacks was ownership.
Right. Yeah, sometimes that's the case. Sometimes owners get too involved and let the football people handle things and,
Yes.
just give them the money they need, and, that's kinda how it is. So, yeah, let's talk about some NFL free agency. What
Oh, yeah.
surprised you the most about what happened this past couple weeks?
Well, I don't know if it's a blessing in disguise, and I'm always thinking Chargers. Always getting $100 million was I thought that was a really big payday for him.
Right.
The Chargers, what they had the money, but and they wanted to keep him, I'm sure, because of the continuity. But when somebody's offering you that kind of payday, and you've got people that are screaming, "Well, yeah, he's not worth that kind of money." Apparently, he is. He just got a check for it. So I'm going to go out.
Exactly.
So
You're worth what somebody'll pay you.
yes, sir. And so, but I think that gives them. They went out and they brought in Dalvin Tomlinson. I like what Ortiz, Harbaugh, and if you want to call it Baltimore West, I'm okay with that, man. Baltimore's had some great football teams. So,
They
yeah,
really
let's
have.
continue to build on this team and what we're doing. But Oweh's signing was one of the biggest ones to me, $100 million. That was one of the top signings of anybody anywhere. I mean, look how many people we have moving around. But I think uh,
Exactly.
the next one is the Crosby deal. Where does that finally end up? Does Max Crosby
It didn't happen.
did it? You see what I'm saying? So, and if it did, and now they a powerhouse, and is he able to get past it and actually now just be a part of a really good team? And who has to come and go because of what went on? So I love that because it's the Raiders, and I prefer chaos to be there. So that makes me
Yeah.
feel good. And
They that
Kansas City,
organization seems to thrive off of chaos.
yeah, and then you got like the Chiefs who are like the villain in a movie that won't die, and they're still there. So I mean, the Chiefs are still there. What about the Colts?
Oh, yeah? I mean,
He,
is
he
Daniel Jones the answer, though?
well, until he got hurt, he was, and
Right.
then he came back and he played well. They hadn't lost. That was scary.
Well,
Um,
that's true. They were on a roll.
yeah, that was a good football team, and you can get on a roll. Will Caleb Williams actually show up? I don't know, but there's another team, Chicago, for us to all be all on the lookout for. And with all the
Right.
moving parts we saw from the coaching part, not the players, all the moving parts we saw from coaches. I think we saw 9 coaches reseated throughout the NFL. That's what I think made such a hot free agency market because everybody wanted their guy. And like the first 5 hours of free agency, almost everything happened.
That's true. It was quick. It was quick. It was fast. So, yeah, that was g so, what's your take on the Cardinals letting go of Kyler Murray when they really don't have an option?
What I
That just blew my mind.
Yeah, but what are the what's Minnesota thinking? What okay, if we have to put a clause in that you need to study film, and we know you need to be on the move to throw the ball, doesn't Minnesota I mean, Justin Jefferson, one of the best quarterbacks. I almost lost like the lead season last year because no one could throw the ball to Justin
Throw
Jefferson.
the ball to
To me, that's the issue.
I got it.
I think I could throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. I realize I'm a, it could be ego, but no, come on. Is he the guy that's going to be able to get, if you, Justin's going to be ready to go. I thought I saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it in the news now? He's asking for a trade
I haven't seen that, but that's a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised.
because is Kyler Murray going to get him the ball?
Right.
He's running around back here for his life. I think he's amazing. So was Doug Flutie and, some of these other quarterbacks, but you got to be amazing for 17 games and the playoffs. All right. I think, amazing is like
Yeah, it's just
lightning.
it's inconsistency, and I don't know, does that come with coaching sometimes? I mean, is the right coach really could he turn his season around? I mean, we kinda saw the same thing with Sam Darnold, uh, or Sam Darnold. He was inconsistent till this last year. I don't know what happened. What
You-
flipped the switch?
They didn't have to make him taller.
Well, this is true. This is true. And that's the other question is, with the draft coming up and everything, um, and you have some quarterbacks that have come out as rookies, thrown them to the fire, and, they fail, they struggle, and does that hurt them long term rather than somebody that can come in, sit behind somebody for a couple years, learn the game? I mean, you look at, you know, some of the best quarterbacks in history came in and didn't start. Look at just popped in my head, Steve Young. He came in and played behind Joe Montana for how many years,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then ends up, of course, Hall of Fame quarterback. But then you know, you have rookies that come in that all the hype in the world, and in a couple years, first round draft picks, number 1 draft picks, in a few years, are out of the league, so are they killing these rookies by just throwing them to the fire right away?
I think we see some that jump right in, and the Joe Burrows of the world, I think is one of the best quarterbacks that ever graced the
Well,
NFL. All right. And the Patrick Mahomeses of the world. Okay. You're going to see them. You're going to see the Justin Herberts walk out there and start setting NFL records in their rookie season. And we're going to see the McCarthys. We're going to see the Penixes. We're going to see the Malik Willises of the world. And two things can be true, I think. I wonder what the teams are thinking when you have, well, what's the saying? If you've got two, you've got none, or when you've got, I don't know, but you've got McCarthy in Minnesota. So now we've got JJ McCarthy and who's our other quarterback down in Minnesota? Kyler Murray.
right, yeah, they picked up Murray, yeah.
McCarthy couldn't get it done now, and here comes Murray. So, okay, let's see what happens there. Let's go to Atlanta. We got Penix.
Oh, oh, don't
Okay.
even tell.
Hold on. We got Penix. And then we went out and we added Tua. Now there's rumors Tua is
And
gonna.
and Kirk Cousins is still there until they decide to do something with it.
What what I don't profess to be an NFL GM. That's why I lean on and people like when I tell Charger fans that I trust the people in our front office. I don't know what's going on with those two because I think you got to pin down the quarterback thing first. I don't know.
Right. And two, I think too sometimes if you're gonna throw that rookie out there, then if they struggle, do you pull them? Do you stick with them? I mean, I think back to Peyton Manning when he came in the league and threw 23 interceptions his rookie year or something like that, but they stuck with him.
Exactly.
And of course, we know what happened.
Yes.
So are they expecting too much? Are they, okay, they struggle, they pull them out, they put them back in. I don't know. It just seems like a recipe for failure. I mean, the Patriots kind of stuck with Drake May last year. I mean, year before, and then last year he's really come into his own his second year. I was glad I picked him up in fantasy football. Let me tell you, he did a great job. So yeah, it's just just out there. It makes me wonder about how they're dealing with these quarterbacks because I mean, first round draft pick quarterbacks are like a 50-50
Yeah.
shot. It's like seems like half of them in a few years are gone. You never hear from them again, or they're a backup. The rest of their career. And then you got half of them that, end up being starters and just a few that really become superstars. But, yeah,
I
it's
think
interesting.
it
I
comes
mean,
down
it's
I
really
think
the
it comes
most important position.
I think it comes down to can they get with that quarterback whisperer? If the quarterback, whether it's Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Herbert, anybody, if we get them with that quarterback whisperer, they gotta and they can learn from there. Okay, then they get elevated because they just come out raw talent, and it's like a big thing
Right.
of somebody's got to mold that into. And depending on who gets them within, I would say that what first 2, 3 seasons, that's what's going to determine where this guy's going to go.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's absolutely because talent can take you so far in, high school and college. You can win just on, like you said, just raw talent. But, once you get into the NFL and a little more sophisticated defenses and yeah, you gotta study the game. You gotta know what's going on or yeah, it doesn't matter. All the talent in the world's not gonna save you.
Absolutely, that won't get it done. I think the free agent dance is just about over, and now it's all
Right.
about draft and finish out your team. I keep going back to I trust my people to build out my team. Now it's who's building your team. And I don't think the Chargers made as many changes as a lot of teams may be going through because if we're coming in with a new coach, and yeah, we're coming in with a new offensive coordinator, but when you're coming in, and that's going to take a minute for everybody to get on page. McDaniels has more motion than anybody in the history of football before the snap of the ball. So
Right.
so you're gonna bring that. I think that's gonna really increase. I mean, we're playing LA, man. You need to be this needs to be hot. It needs to be old school Charger football where they can light you up in seconds. So I think that's gonna happen. And for the teams that can figure out their center, whatever you want to look at, or know exactly where they're going the fastest. That's who's going to rise out of this. Because we did see a lot of movement go around, and once it all settles down, and we see who's really playing and what's left on these teams, this is going to be an amazing season.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So what do you think as far as the Chargers go? What are they looking for in the draft? What's their,
Yeah,
uh,
at this
top
point,
position?
that you've gone in and done this, and this is me with my using my swag method, sophisticated wild ass guest, but I'm thinking if at this point now you don't have to run out and you I think you're working for depth. I think the Chargers are going into the draft. You've got the people that you want to play on this football team. And they didn't try to get a number 10 or a 99 on a Madden game at every position because of the way they want to play football. They want to play fast, they want to play nasty, and I think they're going to come straight at you. So I think they're looking for depth in this draft.
Okay.
You probably get a big receiver and start filling in where you feel like I can get value from this player early to come in and spell Khalil Mack, if you will.
Right. Well, and that's one position that I think does very well, rookies that come in and can really contribute as wide receiver. You see wide receivers coming in and immediately they're making an impact. So is Keenan Allen staying?
If it's up to Keenan, yes. It may not come down to, and uh, this is where weird Jim shows up because, and I love it because he wants the best players available when he needs them. If that's not you, he's happy to go ahead and move on. So as of right now, yeah, Keenan's back. Keenan's staying. There's some some young wide receivers. I think they call it. He's got initials JKM or something. We've got some young studs that may hit the field. All right, so
Okay.
will Keenan get to stay? Will they pick up a one? Will they trade? I don't see them making a trade. I think they play with Quentin Johnson. And if anything, I heard Quentin Johnson's name being whispered in trades because I still don't trust him. He's dropped too many third and continue the games for me. He's dropped too many third downs that ended the game for me. and I'm not into the battered mate syndrome. I'm sorry, Quentin. I think we need to move on. I mean, I love you, but you gotta go. But and that's just one man's opinion. But I would move on from QJ if that opportunity came up, and he's done well last year.
Gotcha, gotcha. Right. Well, and
And
it's gonna
it's going
be
to be.
an interesting draft after all the free agency that everything that's happened so far, and, who knows, there may be a blockbuster trade out there that we'll be surprised about. You just never know. But, yeah, the draft will be something to really look forward to.
Yeah,
So can't wait for that. So do you follow college football a lot? Who's
I'm
your team?
learning to. I'm learning to. I'm getting better at it because this is the first position I ever had. I mean, at 30 plus years selling cars, I worked on Saturday, so I'm never. I'm never. So
I know what you mean. Been there, done that.
okay, until you kind of stepped in and did some things that you pulled there, and helped out with a lot of the mentorship. So now I actually have. I'm starting to actually learn and separate all these conferences and teams and this is SEC country. So I'm trying to figure out because I always got to be just the juxtaposed opposite. I got to figure out where I don't know if it's USC, UCLA, who I want to start crowing about so I have reason to cause chaos, heat, hate, and discontent amongst Georgia fans. I'm just here to cause trouble, man. I'm just, I just want to antagonize some people, Gary. I mean,
Well, I'm a Georgia Tech fan, so I've been there, done that already.
yeah, I don't know. My daughter's getting a degree at USC. I like, USC, UCLA.
Nice.
If one of those is like competitive enough for me to give Georgia fans grief, then I'll do that. But yeah, I'm learning about college football.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I was just curious because it's
It's
just
just
crazy when the college football season ends and the whole the whole portal and NIL money, it's almost like NFL free agency
it is.
on
It is
on
like
steroids. Because these kids have no contracts, they can do whatever they want, basically.
I don't even know because I never actually played college athletics. I'm old enough to understand the pure got my quotation marks up purity of the game. Uh, and I also have sympathy for the what it should be, the name but like everything else, it's being exploited. People are taking it and getting away with this and that. But that part I can't worry about because that's just the society we live in.
It
But
is, it is.
I think what it was designed for, it makes sense, and that makes it fair. And if you get a LA Dodgers that shows up and starts spending money, hey, look what happens. All of a sudden, your landscape's gonna change. So maybe they need to come up with a salary cap.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting how it plays out. I think they gotta do something.
Yeah,
But
salary
I
cap.
think, yeah, for a long time, the players were, I think, cheated kind of,
Yeah,
coaches could go wherever and the players were kinda stuck, so they needed to do something, but I think it's swung the other way now, so we'll see
exactly.
what happens with that. We'll see
Okay.
what happens. So, Leonard, it's been a pleasure. I love talking to you, and I know you're a big Chargers fan, and just being friends, I'm gonna start paying attention to the Chargers a little bit more, but let me end with this because 'cause I've enjoyed this gone 30 minutes has gone by, flown by like a quick talking to you, and we'll come back on during the season. We'll talk more when the season gets going. But being a Chargers fan, let me end with this. What is the biggest heartbreak that you've suffered being a Chargers fan? Is it that Super Bowl, or was there another game? Was there another season? What is just the biggest letdown, heartbreak, can't believe that happened moment in your Chargers fan history?
Everyone that has been watching football for more than, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds has seen the iconic clip of Kellen Winslow being led off the field in Miami in arguably one of the greatest football games ever. That game was played to a level where, I mean, Charger fans will never forget. The following game was Ice Bowl, Snow Bowl, whatever you want to call it in Cincinnati for a chance to go to
Right.
that's a team that potentially wins a Super Bowl. And it was played outdoors in an element that, yeah, to this day, I remember what it felt like sitting there. We didn't stand a chance over there in that snow. Cincinnati went on to go to the Super Bowl. I think that was the biggest one to me. Gosh, yeah, that was the worst.
That would yeah, kinda reminds you of that, kind of the Patriots Denver game this year in the playoffs. That was just you can't I mean, it's not even fun to watch. It's just the weather's so bad, it's just,
It depends
you
on
know
who you want to win. Okay.
well, true,
If you
true.
want someone to lose
Exactly.
really, really badly, okay, it's a you're see, you're my first you're my first cowboy friend that I don't spend my time attacking and sending bad stuff to. But just so you know, when other cowboy fans tell you like, yeah, here this is what your friends like, they're telling the truth. It's a yeah. So I do follow your team, not for very good reasons though. I'm not.
I got it. I got it. I got it. Well, I get a lot of that, so,
Yeah, I thought you were
you
used
know
to
yeah, exactly. Exactly. But, yeah, thank you for that. That's one of those games, of course, as soon as you brought it up, I remember it. And,
it.
yeah, that was back those Chargers teams were crazy. But and Cincinnati didn't fare too well in the Super Bowl, so,
No,
uh, the Chargers probably would have had a better chance.
Air Coryell, you saw what they had just done in Miami. Yeah.
Exactly. 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 Well, Leonard, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for your story about how you became a Chargers fan. Thank you for your service. I know, that you're a veteran and you work so much with veterans. Really something, again, people don't know. You kind of took over my position here at the chamber, and I appreciate what you've done to really support veterans in the community because you've gone above and beyond what I was ever able to do doing that kind of stuff. So appreciate it. You're doing a great job there. I'm keeping an eye on you. So if you ever need anything, reach out anytime.
Thanks, Gary. You've been an amazing mentor, and that's the way I describe you. I appreciate the everything from the recommendation to where we are now, and give me a chance to get on here and do what I love doing. Probably the only thing more than like what we do at the chamber would be this. So, yeah, I mean, well, if we want to get back on after the draft or whatever, you let me know, and I'm always going to be. I'll make some time for us to do this.
Absolutely. You'll be my go-to NFL guy.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, Leonard. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, follow the podcast. It's on Spotify now, Apple Podcasts, of course, wherever you're watching it. Tune in. And if you want to be a guest, just reach out to me and let me know. And we'll talk to you next time.